everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Alchemy. This is episode 7, and we're going to be doing a song by one of my favorite groups from the 80s. And looking forward to sharing that song with you all. And there's going to be a feature in this song, this artist, Luther Vandross, that some of you all are obviously familiar with. This is one of the groups that he started with. But before we get into that, make sure that you like this video, share the video, and subscribe to the video. Okay. And thank you for joining me today. I actually had this ready to go yesterday and then listened back, and there was some noise interference going on. So I was like, let me just do this over. Okay. So again, welcome back to Soul Alchemy. And so, of course, last week we did a politically charged song, Fight the Power. And I'll be including another clip that I decided to share about, the different ways we fight the power now, because it's going to look different for everyone. But today we're going to be talking about a song from the 80s that is considered like boogie post-disco soul. And this song is called Heaven of My Life by the group Change. Now, if you're a big old school R&B lover, then you are going to be already familiar with this group. And if not, it's okay. That's why we're doing this deep dive. Not only so we can talk about how great this song is, but so that you can know more about this amazing group. And so that title, Heaven of My Life, is the actual title, but some streaming platforms such as Spotify may have the title as just Heaven, but the actual title of the song is Heaven of My Life. Okay. And so this song tied Luther Vandross right before he became a solo superstar. And so the Change Group is an Italian American team, production team, channeling a little bit, some would say, of Chic sound, but to me, there's not a big comparison. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. And so the song has been considered to have one of the most beloved bass lines in the group's catalog. Okay. So Change was one of the defining acts of the late disco and early R&B era, blending grooves, orchestration, and soulful vocals into a sound that helped shape modern dance moves. And so formed in Italy in 1979 by producers Jock Fred Petrus and Mauro Malvasi, the group featured an ever-changing lineup of vocalists and musicians, with legendary singers including Luther Vandross and Jocelyn Brown contributing to some of their earliest recordings. So the group's debut album was called The Glow of Love, and some of you already recognize that title because of the title track, The Glow of Love. It became an international success powered by the title track and the hit single, Searching. The album introduced Luther Vandross to many listeners before his solo career took off and showcased the group's signature fusion of disco, funk, and jazz and soul. The group continued its success throughout the early 1980s and with hits such as Paradise, which I love, and Hold Tight, The Very Best in You, Change of Heart, and of course the song we're going to talk about today, Heaven of My Life. They earned a loyal following in clubs and on R&B radio. So their music was just remained influential, and many of their recordings were sampled by hip hop artists and R&B artists, and celebrated by DJs around the world. So let's go into the album or the album and song credits. So the song Heaven of My Life is from the album Miracles. This was Change's second studio album. It was released March 6th of 1981. It was recorded at Funnel Print Studios in Bologna, Italy. The vocals were tracked and mixed at Media Sound Studios in New York City and mastered at Sterling Sound. It was released as a promotional single in October of 1981, the third single from the album, following Paradise and Stop for Love. And so the label that they were on at the time was Atlantic RFC Records. The runtime of this song is considered kind of long for today's, or at that time, standards, 5 minutes to 20 to 38 seconds. Depending on the pressing. So it's a little bit over 5 minutes. So there is, if you go on YouTube, there is an extended version of this song. It's not been proven that that is an official version, official extended version, but there is one on YouTube that is over 7 minutes. But I've not found any worse research where that is an official version. The album Miracles reached number 46 on the Billboard 200 and number 9 on in the Black Album chart. So, the songwriters of this song. This song was written by Mauro Malavasi and Paolo Gianolio, Davida Romani, and Tanyette Willoughby. Produced by Jacques Fred Petrus and Mauro Malavasi, and arranged and conducted by Davide Romani, Mauro Malavasi, and Paolo Gianolio. The lead vocals are Diva Gray, Jocelyn Brown, Tanyette Willoughby, and James Crabb Robinson. And I wasn't sure if it's Tanyette or Tanyette, but it's spelled like Tanyette. So Tanyette or Tanyette Willoughby. Background vocals, Luther Vandross, Crystal Davis, Yolanda McCullough, Benny Diggs, Dennis Collins, and Fonzie Thornton. And there is a special guitar breakdown by Doc Powell, which we'll talk a little about that and let you hear a little snippet of that in the song. So Change was essentially an Italian production project built around session vocalists, not a traditional touring band with a fixed lineup. So the band's founders, Jacques Fred Petrus and Mauro Malavasi, had already scored a massive hit with Change's debut, The Glow of Love, which we mentioned, and brought in top New York session talent, including the young Luther Vandross. Vandross was actually being positioned as Change's official lead singer, but a disagreement over pay meant he stepped back to background vocals instead, while still contributing his arrangement skill. So that is according to the research that I found. If someone has found that that's not incorrect, feel free to comment below and let me know and give me your resource. So he continued in that background role through Miracles right up until 1981, Luther Vandross we're speaking of, when he departed the group entirely to launch his now legendary solo career with Never Too Much. And of course, so many of you all know that's probably his biggest single, besides Dance with My Father, I believe. So Heaven of My Life captures Vandross in a fascinating in-between moment. You do hear him a little bit in the song, but not as much as a standout in songs like The Glow of Love, Searching, and some other songs, but you do hear a little bit of him because it's mostly all vocals singing together on this song. And so critics at the time often described Change as carrying a strong chic influence, partly because of shared personnel and the general post-disco sound of the era, but many fans and reviewers argue that the album stands on its own as one of the best soul boogie albums of the early 80s, not just a Chic imitation. I would have to agree. And I love Chic, and we'll probably do several deep dives of some of their songs, as well as some more Change songs. But they are unique to me. They have an amazing sound, and I could see why there would be some similarities there mentioned, or people would see them as similar because of certain sounds in some of the songs and them being around popular at around the same time. But they're very unique to me. And if you go and listen to some of those songs that we've mentioned, like Paradise, Hold Tight, Searching, The Glow of Love, they're not like Chic to me mostly, but there are a little bit of similarities, but mainly they are a unique band. So as far as the vocal and musical breakdown, so multiple lead vocalists trade off across the song rather than one dominant voice. And this is the hallmark of the Change sound. So if you go and listen to many of their songs, this is what you will hear. And so Doc Powell's guitar breakdown is a very important part of this song. Fans and collectors consistently single this out as one of the record's most memorable moments, alongside, as I mentioned, the bass line in the song. And so, as I've mentioned in other episodes, I am a person I've recognized that loves songs with a groove, a consistent groove throughout the song. And this is another song like that. So this song has a tight groove-driven rhythm section, harmonized backgrounds, a polished but warm mix. Okay. And so I'm going to play some timestamps here from the song so you can hear some snippets of certain parts that I feel like are important. The beginning of this song is important so you can know the type of groove this song is going to give. So I'm going to play the very beginning, just a little bit of it so you can hear it. Okay. So that's how the beginning starts off. Okay. So that lets you know what type of song it's going to be, the type of groove. And this groove you're going to hear pretty much throughout the song. Okay. And so then we'll get to the verse. In the opening of the verse, it's gang vocal, all unison. And that's what you'll notice about the verses, that they are unison. And there's like one word where they bring in a harmony. And so I'm going to play just a little bit of the verse here. Let's see here. We're going to play a little bit of so you can hear that little bit of the harmony that's just in there that one time. So that baby was the only part of harmony in the verse. And that happens again when you hear the second verse. And so after that section that I just played, one of the vocalists, which I believe that would be that was singing lead would be James Crabb Robinson. I could be wrong on that, and feel free to comment if you know who was actually singing the lead, but I think that is who's doing this lead coming up where he says, you know, I got the best for you. And I'm not going to play that part, but you'll hear that if you go and listen to the song. But after he says that line, the chorus comes back in, the vocals come back in on this pre-chorus. And so they're saying, I'm so glad that you're the angel of my heart and I'm the love that you need. That's a very important section because you'll hear those lines again as a pre-chorus before the next chorus comes in. And so then you'll go into the chorus part. And this is what you'll hear. So you had all unison during the verse, but this is where the chorus comes in with some beautiful harmonies. Okay, so that's beautiful. And I've just played a little bit of that chorus, but you see that the contrast of the verse is in unison and the chorus is in harmony. And that's what you'll hear again throughout the song. And so there is on the second verse, after they do that chorus, I feel like this is the best verse in the song, where they say, you are the flame that keeps our love so warm. I am the fuel that keeps you burning all night long. Tailor made, we fit to a T, baby. And the baby comes back in with that, the harmony there, but everything else is in verse. And they say, our love is complete. So you get a sense of what type of song this is. It's a romantic song about love, and a love that seems to be pretty consistent and complete, as they say. And so, and then of course they come back in with the I'm so glad pre-chorus and go into the actual chorus. And then there is a breakdown that where Doc Powell comes in, and that's what the fans mention as a highlight of the song. And so I'm going to play just a little bit of that so you'll hear it. Okay, so you hear the guitar and the bass in rhythm together. But that really, that guitar line is just, it's everything. And then, so this actually goes on in the song for a while. And it's just so good. It's so groovy how they did this. And then the keys kind of come in for a little bit, and then the vocals come back in with the I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're the angel of my heart, and I'm the love that you need. You'll hear that again before they come in with the chorus. And so that chorus just goes on to the very end. But the one part that I love that I don't know if people recognize, but in the first chorus, you hear the music changes. So the guitar and the bass obviously are doing something different during the chorus, in the first chorus and the second one. But after Doc Powell does this breakdown and they come back in with the pre-chorus and the actual chorus, they continue that breakdown where he's doing the guitar, the riff, and the bass is with him. They continue that on into the last pre-chorus and chorus of the song, which is just so good. They don't change it up. It's so good. And I think they realized how great it was, that it needed to keep going. So when you hear this, I'm just going to play a little bit so you hear how they just keep it going into the chorus. This is the pre-chorus. They're still doing that riff. It's so good. And they keep that going, but that was not happening initially. They changed it up for the first chorus and the second chorus. They changed the music up, meaning that they were playing differently for the chorus. But this last time they kept that riff going, and it just it's such a beautiful ride to me for this song. So it's just good. So the song, when we talk about the lyrics, the song frames a partner as home, sanctuary, and a lasting devotion all at once. The storyteller repeatedly returns to the idea that their love is enduring and complete, using heaven as the central metaphor for how secure and whole this relationship feels. And so, compared to when we did the deep dive on Everlasting Love by Rufus and Shaka, this one is less leading less into vulnerability and distance, and more into settled contentment. So this love that's happening in this song, they are in contentment, they are complete, they are satisfied in this situation. Um, and so, with that being said, as we always do with all of our episodes, we want to talk about what is the heartbeat of this song, the concrete heartbeat and the abstract. So, the concrete heartbeat of this song would be the bass line, Doc Powell's guitar breakdown, and the layered vocal harmonies. Those things are the heartbeat. They are the foundation of what makes this song so good musically. And the abstract heartbeat is security, devotion, and contentment. It's a relationship that has fully arrived rather than one still being fought for or proven. Um, and so, with that being said, have you ever had a relationship that just felt like home? And that's any type of relationship, not something you're still working to prove, but something that already felt complete. Now, for me, you just heard him bark. I'm about to bring him up. My dog, Leo, is home for me. So he is like the heaven of my life, because he means a whole lot to me. But there are, of course, people in my life that I would say that are home for me because I can be myself. I can um, feel at ease in that relationship, talk about anything, be who I am around them. These are the relationships that we need to cultivate and give time to. And I think in the current times that we're in, the world is dealing with a lot of stuff, and people are dealing with things individually that are hard and challenging, that we need to think about who in our life that we need to spend quality time with. Who do we need to support? Who do we need to reach out to and cultivate those relationships that mean a lot to us, that are considered home to us or heaven to us? or relationships that we feel like could end up being that way, but because we haven't taken the time that we may want to do that so that they can become home or heaven to us. So just as something to ponder and think about as you listen to this song. Definitely let me know what you think about this song. I remember listening to this song at home at my parents' home on 8-track because they had the album on 8-track. So that was how I was introduced to it. Let me know how you were introduced to it. Do you have 8-track still at home somewhere? Let me know what you think about the song, about the group. Did you know about change? Let me know how you feel about the topic of heaven and home and relationships. Let me know what other songs you would like me to do a deep dive on, and any questions that you have. And feel free to email me as well. You can comment below, but email me if you have questions or requests. My email is soulalchemyjanelle. That's JANNELL at gmail.com. And I'll make sure to put that in the description for you. Thank you again, and make sure to like the video, share, and subscribe. There's more to come. I can't wait to share more with you. And yeah, have a great day, you guys, and I'll see you back here for the next episode. Bye.